and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
An educated workforce is a devastating thing. You're leading the baddest motherfuckers on this planet. We have been subjugated to management's tyranny too long. Too long. Today, we're gonna pick a fight. You're leading the baddest motherfuckers on this planet. The union's here now. We have to be united. That's what we have to do as a union. We are all the union. Educated workforce is a devastating thing. We are all the union. The most powerful individual on the working floor is the shop steward. If I tell you that I love you, that means if Satan came up and got you himself, I would go to hell to get you back. The union's here now. You can never put anything above the city letter carrier. Letter carrier is personal to me. That's my heart. The city letter carriers. Satan came up and got you himself, I would go to hell to get you back. Never put anything above the city letter carrier. We have to be united. And I will go to war with y'all every day. All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. I'm going to have a very lengthy episode today. I didn't want to do that. The reason I'm doing the Wednesday episodes is so that my Sunday episodes aren't so long. But we're going to have a very long episode today. I'm going to cover the new tool management's using, the auto pivot. If y'all have not heard about that, that's where they're telling you every day that you've got undertime. And so we're going to cover that, how to grieve it. It's going to be very lengthy. Somebody sent me their PowerPoint and also their minutes. I don't know if I'm going to read their minutes, but the minutes of this meeting are hysterical because they have no idea what they're doing. And you can tell that there are individuals in there that are like, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well. And they're asking them questions about grievances. They have no answers. And so it's kind of comical. I may read the minutes, but man, it's like 34 pages of minutes. But it's just funny because they're trying to sell this program to whoever they're in front of. And you can tell that some of these people that they're in front of are not buying it. And they know that grievances are coming. And so we'll talk about some grievances today, how we're going to grieve it. I do know that the person who sent it to me, there was kind of a string of conversations where there are going to be some templates coming out, I believe, about this stuff. It's not at every station right now. Matter of fact, it's voluntary right now, and they're saying that they want it to be mandatory. So we'll get it ready to be grieved here, okay? And so I'm going to tell you just a few things about grieving this thing. I'm going to do some shout-outs. Going to get in some people's asses a little bit. Going to talk about the Constitution, what happened there. I know that we had the episode last week about the Constitution and how that was voted down to that we were going to just dismiss the Constitution in its entirety. Is what happened. So I'll give all those names out because they're on social media now. So I'll give you those names, who voted for and who voted against, okay? And so first off, we're going to talk about Miss Mallory. I told y'all from Arbitration.com, there's a prompt where you can go to show her some love. Now, she just had surgery, so she's going to be out a little bit. Y'all say a prayer for Miss Mallory. She had some shoulder surgery, I believe it was. And so she's going to be out of pocket for a little bit. So just say a prayer for my friend Mallory. Again, get on from Arbitration.com. It has something on there where it says buy her a coffee. Show her some love. Okay, she does a lot of stuff for From 8 Arbitration and Reddit, Discord, everything else. So she's constantly involved with helping advance the plight of the city letter carrier. All right, so get on there, show her some love, whatever it is. I know I had a lady message me the other day, and a very bright individual. She's going to have a lot to do coming up here with the union. She is extremely bright, and she said that she has something going in there where she gives her $5 a month, and I thought that was pretty cool. And so if we can get a few hundred people to do that, that'd be fantastic, and help Mallory out for everything that she does for us as far as the episodes, the sites I talk about, the training I talk about. She handles 100% of that because I don't know anything about it. I have no idea what I'm doing. So y'all get on there and show her some love, all right? Wednesday nights, I told y'all that I was going to start doing the episode for the CLC. And so I started that last Wednesday, talked a little bit about saving minutes on 6-day counts. Asked for a name. So many people sending names. I'll tell you what the number one name was, From Aid to Education, which oddly enough was, I had all kind of people messaging, use From Aid to Education, and a lot of stuff in my name. What I want to do is kind of separate myself from that, from 8 Arbitration to the CLC thing. So had a few names come in that I loved. And so I'll share that with you Wednesday. We're going to get back into the 6-day count, reading that. Another thing, somebody asked that I go back and get all of the 6-day count episodes where I was reading that book and put them all together. What I may do is just start reading the book again, because so many people reached out that said that it's helped them because they don't like sitting down reading. So I'll do that for you. As boring as that is, I'll do that again because we're in the throes of 6-day count. And so I'll do that. I'll just read it again, and I may read it again. You never know. I kind of want it to be basic training for new shop stewards. That's what I wanted. And so I will do that. We'll talk about, the 8190, the shop steward, the informal A meeting, the formal A, kind of the things I've went over in the past, maybe a little more lengthy. Okay, so we'll get into that. Sound of some basic training for new stewards. And so a lot of new stewards reaching out. And that's what this was started for, is those small stations. Not necessarily for the big stations, for the big installations, because normally they have formal A's to be able to send them to training. I was asked to start this for those small stations who got no training, who couldn't send people to training, whose stewards couldn't even make it to their union meetings because they're so far away. And so that's what this was started for. And I've had a lot of people reach out that have expressed thanks for that. So we'll get back to the basics on Wednesdays, okay? And so that will be every Wednesday. Remember Discord. Get on Discord. A lot of great conversations going on there. And if you go on there, they got a lot of channels, grievance help, stuff like that. If you ask questions, they'll be able to tell you where to go as far as the channels for grievance help. A great bunch of people. I love Discord, getting on there, getting them riled up, and then I'll leave. And so, but they're a great bunch of people. Reddit's the same. A lot of great stuff on Reddit, kind of the same thing. I will never block the comments or turn off the comments on any of my sites. If you want to come take a shot at me, come on. I'll get on there and we'll go at it a little bit. I'll tell you I love you, and then I'll go to bed. Okay, so a lot of people get on Reddit, take exception to things that I say, my beliefs, my political whatever. That's fine. We'll go at it for a bit. Just know I love you anyway. However you feel about me, I love you. And so, but Reddit's fun. A lot of great stuff going on Reddit too. So make sure you're getting on there. CLC. I'll be remiss if I didn't talk about the CLC. That's the ticket, the slate that I'm on. If you get on concernedlettercarriers.com, get on there and you can endorse, you can support. however you want to support. A lot of people have reached out how they can support. And so I can say, hey, if you can't donate, spread the word. Just spread the word, because we're going to take back over this union next year. That's a foregone conclusion. But I want it to be so overwhelming that the establishment understands the carrier's position. I want it to be so overwhelming when they're packing up their boxes, they realize what they did wrong. Hopefully they will. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're so blinded by their position and power that they can't see what they're doing wrong. And so I want it to be so overwhelming when they're leaving, they're going to kick Renfro in his ass and say, damn it, look what you did. And look what you did, because your incompetence has led us here. We took, we put all of our eggs in your basket, bitch, and you broke every one of them. So that's how I want this vote to be, and it will be. This movement is unlike anything ever seen before in the NLC. There's nothing they can do to stop it. I said months ago, maybe a year ago, them trying to stop this movement is like putting a paper plate in front of your face when a tidal wave's coming in. That's what they're fixing to be hit with, because the city letter carrier is sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said that before. We're sick and tired of being run over by everybody. By everybody. I'll talk about that in a bit. I want to do some shout outs. Some people sent me some shout outs, so let's do those. And then I'm going to talk about lying bastards, if that's all right. And because we've got a lot of them. We've got a lot of lying bastards, and so we'll talk about them. I want to give a shout out to my Union Branch 3 of Buffalo, New York. Our VP, Renee Bogan, I hope I said that right, Bogan informed me to apply for FMLA due to being out of work for a week for pneumonia when management tried issuing a letter of warning. My backroom steward did nothing as usual, but Renee helped me once it came across her desk for informal A. Also a shout out to President Groskopf and EVP Levering for faxing paperwork for me when I had issues doing it myself. And so there's your shout out, my friend. And anybody who knows FMLA, OWCP, complicated. So it always helps when you have those people that understand it, when they take their time to educate us and to help us. And Groskopf's a beast. If y'all know Groskopf, y'all heard him last week. Y'all heard him last week on my episode. One of the all-time greatest sayings, I'm not going to say it, but he had one of the all-time greatest sayings talking about the council and how they just licked Renfro's ass. And I thought that was one of the funniest things ever. Matter of fact, if y'all saw the video, I'm laid over on a desk laughing when he said it, because it just came out and I'm like, damn, did he just say that? But Groskopf's an absolute animal. And so I look forward to working with him on the executive council. He's running for trustee, him and Comine and Cruz. Those are three absolute beasts. And we need that right now. We need straight savages on the executive council and resident officers. And that's what y'all going to get. Y'all hear some more resident officers coming out soon. I'm sure James Henry's going to bring it out. Straight savages. And so I can't wait. But anyway, there's your shout out. Can you give a shout out to Tim Swigert in Granite City? Best shop steward there is. Been with the post office over 30 years, and he stays to make sure management doesn't fuck light blue. It's a thankless job. However, our office is beyond grateful. Thanks, Timmy. So absolutely, and it is a thankless job. It is absolutely a thankless job. When you think about that as advocates, and you know what I'm talking about if you're an advocate, had almost 200 cases. No telling how many removals. I may have had less than a handful ever reach out and say thanks for the time you put into it. Now, that's not what you're doing it for. But to me, if somebody saves my job and I've royally fucked up, I'm going to reach out with a little something. So, hey, I appreciate you. Here's your little something. Go to dinner on me, because I know that you spent about 2 weeks straight in this case file trying to get me back to work. And it's a thankless job. So absolutely. So Tim Swigert in Granite City, the best shop steward there is, no greater compliment. No greater compliment. So I appreciate you, brother, for what you do for the light blue. Hey, Corey, I want to give a big shout out to Adam Wall. I hope I'm saying that right. W-A-U-G-H. Adam Wall out of Jackson, Ohio. This guy has really helped me sharpen my Formal A skills. My Formal A files are so much better than before. He is someone that is always willing to help fuck up management We're now having to replace a postmaster and every supervisor because they have tapped out and literally told me they're leaving because of the union. They say that our office is impossible for anyone to win at because the carriers know too much. These smaller officers are now winning thanks to people like you and Adam. That's absolutely fantastic. No greater compliment. No greater compliment than that. Then these smaller stations are now winning because of you and Adam. And so Adam Wall, I hope I'm saying it right, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, brother. It's overly important that we educate these small stations because they'll send these managers in there like they're fixing to do with taking these caps off the 12 and 60, influencing carriers to work 20 hours a day. And, we have got to understand our rights, know our rights. And so these smaller officers, we are coming. We are coming. I promise you, we are coming. We're going to reach every small office in this country, and that's a promise from me to you on my life. So Adam Wall, thank you, brother. Sincerely, thank you. Here's an anti-shout-out. Somebody sent me this the other day. Thought it was funny. Because I consider myself to be a nice guy, right? Try not to be too divisive. Come on here to educate. Here's this said, hey, but just a heads up. This president, and I'm not going to say the local, did not have anything good to say about you, Tyler Vassar, or John Murphy. I'm like, damn, what'd John Murphy do? But Tyler Vassar, how can you not say anything nice about Tyler Vassar? God, that dude's one of the best dudes ever. That talks about he wants to build a fighting NLC, and you're taking a shot at him. But he says, didn't have anything nice to say about you, Tyler, or John Murphy last night. Didn't mention y'all by name, but made the comment, before you go listen to certain podcasts or jump ship to the other side, know those people don't know a quarter about anything that we do. I wish those people would just sit down and be quiet instead of talking about shit they have no clue about. Just wanted to let you know. And he's one of Veda Preston's puppets, bootlickers, he said, which isn't surprising. So he says he wants people to just sit down and be quiet. Let me tell you something. The days of the city letter carrier sitting down and being quiet are over. Those days are gone. The city letter carrier has stood up. They have stood the fuck up. And they will continue to stand up until we take over this union and we become the forefront of this union again. I'm a city letter carrier. I hold no position. I'm the secretary of my branch. That's it. I hold no position. I'm a city letter carrier. I'm going to be delivering mail tomorrow. It's supposed to be 90 degrees and sunny. I'll be delivering it all week, every day. I deliver 6 days a week on a walking route. That's all I've ever done. For 32 years, I've been on a walking route. So I will not sit down because some bitch bootlicker wants me to sit down, saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Nobody can come on here or anything that any of my sites and write one thing that I've ever said that I don't know what I'm talking about. I always have receipts. Always. I make no accusations unless I have a receipt. I've had people send me things. Hey, I want you to talk about this. I could not verify it, so I would not talk about it. I know this. The city letter carrier will not sit down, and we refuse to be quiet. The TA, that was just the starting point of what we're capable of. That's just the beginning of what we're capable of. You've not seen anything yet. This vote coming up next year, wait and see. Wait and see. But we will not sit down. Those days are over with, bitch. Sitting down. I wish a motherfucker would come up to me and tell me to sit down and be quiet on anything I do. Come on here and say that. I'll always have, it's an open door on this podcast here. Anybody who wants to come on here, there's an open invitation. I have people on social media I've asked to get on the podcast and I can't get on. Bullshit. It's an open invitation to anybody and everybody. I'm talking about the president all the way down to whoever. An open invitation to come on here and get some. I will not sit down. I started this podcast out trying to educate my people because I love the city letter carrier. I didn't want to do this podcast. I work 6 days a week. I didn't want to spend my Sunday, the only day I have off, on here for 2 hours. That means if I'm on here for 2, I've spent 4 because I have to go back and edit it. Because I got to get up and use the restroom, or I yawn a lot, or I sneeze, or I say things I'm like, probably shouldn't have said that, and I'll go back and edit it out. I would much rather be doing other things on my only day off than doing this shit. But my people needed to be educated. And so I said I would do that. I will get on here and educate those branches that are not getting education. But because I understand the importance of not letting management, the most lying motherfuckers I've ever seen, get over on just one of us. One aggrieved, we're all aggrieved, is what I've always been taught. If one is harmed, we are all harmed, is what I've been taught. I'm not one of those that say, hey man, I've got it made at my station. Everybody else can go fuck off. That's not how I was raised. So when they came to me, I said, I will do that. I will do that. Because I don't want anybody in light blue run over. So anybody who wants to come on here and get some, it's an open invitation. It's an open invitation. Any president who wants to tell me to be quiet and sit down, come on here. Let's talk about it. Any business agent that wants to come on here, I've had one, Vafiatas, come on here. Any of them want to come on here and get some, come on. Any resident officer wants to come on here and get some, come on. Brother, I will not back down from anybody, ever, ever. The things I say on here are true and accurate. I have receipts to prove every single bit of it. So anybody saying that I don't know what I'm talking about or I'm full of shit or whatever, come on here and discuss it. It's that fucking simple. I know I've got the lyingest motherfuckers I've ever seen right now in my executive council and my resident officers. I know that shit. I know I've got the lyingest motherfuckers ever in management right now. Everybody wants to fucking lie to the city letter carrier. Everybody. Management, they will lie just to lie. That's how those motherfuckers are. Those motherfuckers are going to lie. My president, the lyingest motherfucker I've ever seen. I had Vafiatas come on here and sit here and try to defend that motherfucker. I don't think that he's dishonest. I don't see that he's untruthful. Motherfucker, you ain't looking. If anybody says that motherfucker's not a liar, they're not looking or paying attention. That's the lyingest motherfucker we've ever seen. Ever. God bless. You know, there's the story. I told y'all the story about the snake, the rattlesnake, you know. This motherfucker's a rattlesnake. He is who he is. That's who he is. You ever heard the story about the pig? The farmer? Just looking out there every day and seeing the pig out in the slop, in the mud, in the muck. Every day he would look out there and there's this old pig. He wasn't going to kill this pig because he didn't want to eat it. You know, he loved that pig. Every day he'd look out there and there's that pig looking in the window just covered with mud and slop and funk. Every single day. And that pig's just looking in at him. So this farmer's like, you know what? I want a better life for that pig, man. I don't want him to be subjugated to slop and muck and mud his whole life. Look at how he looks at me every day. He wants a better life for himself. So the farmer goes out there and gets the pig and he brings it in the house. He takes it in, gives it a bath, you know, puts some nice cologne on it, smelling real good. It's clean for the first time ever. He goes out and buys a little suit, a little pig suit, and puts it on the pig and got some little dress pants and a shirt. Gives it a little bow tie. You know, and the pig's just sitting on the couch with him. He has people over for dinner. And they're like, what in the fuck is that? He's like, it's my pig. He said, I just got tired of seeing it out there in the muck and the mud. And so I brought him in. I cleaned him up and gave him a suit. Put some nice cologne on him. And they leave. They're like, this motherfucker's crazy. And so he sleeps with the pig that night and they wake up the next morning. He's like, hey, man, let's go for a walk, and opens up that door, and you know what the pig does? Runs straight out there to the fucking mud. Gets in that shit, buries himself in it. Just wallers himself up in that shit, jumping up and down, all happy and shit because he's finally back in the mud. Do you know why he did that? Because deep in that motherfucker's heart, he's a pig. It's who he is. It's what he is. He's a pig. No matter how you dress this motherfucker up, he's a pig. That's your fucking president. No matter what position you put this motherfucker in, he's a liar. He's a fucking disgraceful liar is all that motherfucker is. So it doesn't matter what you say about this motherfucker. He's a liar at heart. People say the only reason he lied because he was a drunk. He was an alcoholic. And he still uses that to this day to justify shit. I heard him talking in a COP or something the other day talking about, well, I've been sober for 2 years. Great, then why are you still fucking lying? If you've been sober for 2 years, it's because it's in his fucking nature. It's who this motherfucker is a liar. It doesn't, alcohol had nothing to do with it. That may have enhanced it. But the motherfucker was, is, and always will be a fucking liar. It's what he does. It's who he is. He can't help himself. He's still doing it to this day. So you got the Postal Service. Those motherfuckers lie their fucking ass off to us. You got our fucking president lying his fucking ass off to us. You got resident officers in the executive council lying their fucking asses off to us. Well, where did they lie? They lied when they voted against the fucking Constitution. That's when they lied, because they all raised their right hand and said that they swore to abide by the Constitution. And so when they did not, you know what that made them? A liar. It's no different than if I had them in arbitration. The arbitrator swears people in. Will you raise your right hand? And then when they lied, you know what that means? They're liars. They're liars. So every one of those on the executive council, the resident officers, every one of those motherfuckers that said that they're not going to abide by the Constitution, fucking liars. Liars. The arbitrator, the national arbitrator, Nolan, is a fucking liar. He's a liar. How do I know? Renfro called him one. That's how. Renfro called the motherfucker a liar. Somebody's lying. I talked about that the other day, right? Somebody's lying, because I know this. I know Melissa Rakestraw talked about mediation, and he said that's a lie. That's what your president said. That's a lie to Melissa. It couldn't have been Melissa, because she read the fucking decision. She said on page 3, it says the mediation session. She talked about this was a mediation, and anything out of a mediation must be ratified. That's a lie. That's what he said. Well, the arbitrator wrote it in his decision, page 3. The mediation sessions took place in Washington, D.C. You know how I know the arbitrator lied? Because in the MOU that Brian Renfro, your president, and Doug Tolino wrote, in the MOU that was talking about the expedited arbitration, number 4 says, the parties shall cooperate with arbitrator Nolan during the mediation process, and shall meet and negotiate in good faith as he directs, including but not limited to presentation of their respective positions to him. So they wrote it in there in the MOU about mediation. Now our Constitution says anything that comes out of mediation must be ratified. So I'll read that again. The parties shall cooperate with arbitrator Nolan during the mediation process. So he's just a mediator now. He's not an arbitrator. He's a mediator. He's going to get together and he's going to mediate. That's what that means when they say that. He's no longer a national arbitrator. He's a mediator. That's what the parties agreed to. The parties shall cooperate with arbitrator Nolan during the mediation process. So now we're in mediation. We have somebody, a neutral person in mediation, kind of directing where we should go, his opinions maybe. And then they say down here on number 5, now pay attention. The arbitrator will issue a final and binding award based on the parties' presentations during the mediation. That's a violation of our Constitution. Parties' presentations during mediation or the interest arbitration proceeding. That's a violation. They both violated our Constitution when they said that, right? Anything coming out of mediation must be ratified. Y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what the two parties did to us, Brian Renfro and Doug Tolino? Do y'all see what they did? They circumvented the will of the people. We already had a mediation and we had a tentative agreement that we voted down. We kicked the shit out of those motherfuckers, TA, that they presented to us. Because I don't consider Brian Renfro to be part of us. This motherfucker is a liaison between management and us. That's all this bitch is. He's a fucking liaison. So you got Doug Toledo and Brian Renfro, two parties outside of us. I don't recognize that motherfucker as being part of us. So they come together with a TA and say, hey, what do y'all think about that? Fuck both of y'all. Fuck both of y'all on that TA. If y'all could rip that motherfucker in half and both of y'all roll up y'all's respective sides and shove both that up y'all's ass, we'd appreciate it. That's what a 70% vote tells you. So what did they do? What did they do after they came into mediation and presented this bitch-ass TA? And we voted it down. What did they sign off on? I'll read it again. The arbitrator will issue a final and binding award based on the parties' presentations during mediation. They circumvented the will of the people. Or interest arbitration. So let's see what the arbitrator says it was. Let's see if the arbitrator says it was interest arbitration or mediation. Because it says during mediation or the interest arbitration proceeding. It didn't say and, it says or. So they're differentiating the two. They're not the same. Mediation or. If that word wasn't in there, Mr. Renfro might have a leg to stand on. But he's a lying motherfucker. So you got during mediation or the interest arbitration proceeding. So let's see what the arbitrator said. The mediation session. So he differentiated the two. You've got mediation or interest arbitration. He says the mediation sessions. So he's telling you it was not interest arbitration. It wasn't that. It was the first, mediation. So the mediation sessions took place in Washington, D.C. on March 17, 18th, where he was a mediator. He wasn't a national arbitrator at the time. He's a mediator, right, between the parties. He even says so. Both parties were represented by counsel and fully presented their positions. Each party insisted firmly on its own position, but both worked professionally and cooperatively to reach a fair outcome. That's mediation. That's not because the arbitrator, he does the outcome on interest arbitration. He takes both sides and then he's going to issue an award based on his findings. He says they did that. Both work professionally and cooperatively to reach a fair outcome. So that's mediation. That's not arbitration. I don't go in there in arbitration, in a regional arbitration on a removal. The arbitrator said both parties came together to reach a fair outcome. That's not how they do. I either win or lose. He's either removed or he's not. They're in there to remove them. I'm in there to save them. So it was a stipulated award. But Renfro said no. That's a lie. So I've got a national arbitrator lying to us. I wonder if Barner will get together with labor and say, hey, we need to amend this decision because the motherfucker lied to us. I wonder if Barner will do that for us. I know that it's binding, but so is regional arbitrators. It's binding as well. He did that to Region 2 when he amended that decision on one of the things that could help us as far as non-compliance. I wonder if Barner will have the gumption to stand up and say, hey, National Arbitrator Nola lied to us. He said it was mediation, and my president said it was not. Because if it's mediation, it needs to be ratified. They don't have the authority to override or circumvent my Constitution. I don't give a fuck whose name's on there. They don't have that authority. But motherfuckers did it. And they're still doing it to this day. The Executive Council, resident office, still to this day are circumventing the Constitution. What the fuck good is a Constitution if you got motherfuckers saying it's not valid or we don't want to consider it? Here's another thing he lied on. And I talked about this the other day. Here's another thing that the arbitrator lied on. Because I know my president wouldn't lie on it. When he talks about the position of the parties. The NALC argued the following points. The NALC's active membership overwhelmingly rejected the tentative agreement reached in late 2024, 71% to 29%. In a post-vote poll, which is not constitutional, but we did it anyway, of active members by Hart Research, 85% of no voters indicated that higher general wage increases than 1.3%. I'll read that again. In a post-vote poll of active members by Hart Research, 85% of no voters. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because y'all's president told me in a rap session down in Region 8 that it was only a small sampling of individuals who voted no. And we've talked about that. How do you know who voted no? It's supposed to be a secret ballot. So how do you know who voted no? How do you know to send out a survey to who? How do you know they voted no? Because that wasn't on there, was it? Because I didn't get a survey. Nobody in my station got a survey. And so that's a lie. So the arbitrator lied on that when he said 85% of no voters. No, that's not true. That's not true because first off, they don't know who no voters are. That's what they said. And not everybody got any. The president said that. It was just a small sampling that they sent out, this Hart Research. So that's a lie. So I've got a national arbitrator who's lying to us. So you got the Postal Service, lying motherfuckers. Renfro, the pig, he's just a fucking liar. It don't matter what setting he's in, he's going to lie. You got the Executive Council. They're fucking liars. The resident officers, they're fucking liars. You got arbitrators. He's a fucking liar. Everybody's lying to the city letter carrier. Why is that? And you got a motherfucker going to stand up and tell us to sit down and shut up. Bitch, I wish I would. Motherfucker, I wish I would. I would much rather be educating on here than this shit. But fuck, I'm a city letter carrier, man. I'm a city letter carrier. I don't give a fuck what I'm running for. I'm a city letter carrier. I'm not the executive vice president. I'm a city letter carrier. I remember when I was in the youth group, we used to help out with the children's ministry. And the youth pastor, a guy named Jimbo Dean, fantastic guy, funny as hell. I love this guy. He's a pastor now. We talk often. But we were talking to kids, and he was asking this kid, he's like, well, how old are you? And this kid says, I'll be 9 next week. And so Jimbo said, so you're 8. I remember that to this day because I laughed so hard when he said that because it's kind of like an arbitration. You know, how old are you? I'll be 9 next week, so you're 8. And so, you know, just matter of fact, I still use that to this day. So, I'm a city letter carrier. Yeah, but you're running for, I'm a city letter carrier. That's what I am. And so I will come to you as a city letter carrier. My frustration is based off of me being a city letter carrier that everybody seems to think they can fucking lie to me. Why? I don't do anything but come to work every morning and I do 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay. That's all I'm required to do. And everybody I know is a fucking liar. Everybody. I heard a fucking business agent talk the other day. Somebody sent me a recording. And he's the one, when you remember James Henry came on here and he's talking about this executive council meeting where they came in there and they voted down the Constitution, basically is what they did. This one is the one that when they started talking immediately raised his hand and said, I vote to dismiss the charges as having no merit. Hell, they ain't got finished reading them yet. And this dude was so anxious to kiss Brian Renfro's ass, he wanted to be the first one. Ooh. You remember back at the Horse Shack back in Welcome Back, Carter? Me. Yeah, what do you got? Vote down him as having no merit, sir. Well, hang on, little boy. Hang on, let us finish first, and then we can do that. That's how eager these motherfuckers are to kiss this boy's ass. This is a child, a boy. And he just walks around these motherfuckers around the table. I can see it. Walking around the table with his fucking hand out. Kiss this ring. Kiss this ring. Yes, sir. Now, kiss thine ass. Turn around, sir. Kiss my ass after you kiss this ring. That's what these motherfuckers remind me of. I can see them doing it, man. I own a child. These motherfuckers are grown men, grown women. God bless America. Here's the ones who voted, because I saw this is all over social media. Here's the ones who voted not to dismiss the charges. These are the ones who said, we've got to go by the Constitution. Regardless of what y'all think, if they have any merit or not, the Constitution is what it is. It states what it states. We all held our hand up and made a pledge, made a swear to abide by the Constitution. We cannot do this. Even if you don't think it has merit, we have to do what the Constitution states. Here's the ones who said, we're not going to dismiss the charges as having no merit. The Wolf, James Henry, Mac Julian, Manny Peralta, Jim Yates, Larry Brown, Keisha Lewis, Mike Cariff, David Teagarden, Eddie Davidson, Sean Boyd, Mark Camilli. These are the ones who said, look, like Renfro, don't like Renfro. I'm a fan of Renfro. I'm not a fan of Renfro. We've got to go by the Constitution. We've got to let that play out, and then we will vote after the investigator gives us his report of findings. Then we will vote and see if it has merit. But we have to assign an investigator. That's what the Constitution said. Here's the ones who voted to dismiss the charges as having no merit before an investigator, in spite of what the Constitution says, circumventing the Constitution. Brian the Pig Renfro, Paul bitch-ass Barner, Nicole Ryan, which is a stunner to me, shocked. Stephanie Stewart, stunned me, shocked. Dan Toth, Sandy LaMelle, Charlie Hege, Nick Vafiades, Dan Versluis, Steve Lassen, God, Brian Thompson, Veda Preston, Rick DeCecca, Bruce Didrikson. Some of those names, I could have told you, if they had said 14 voted to dismiss them, I could have wrote half of those down. I'll tell you who voted them down. These are the bootlickers. Did I get those right? Yeah, those are on there. I could have told you half of them, more than half. Some of them surprised me. Some of them are shocking when I heard. Because what you can't do, I don't care if you sympathize with Renfro. If you said, man, he's just under an assault right now. I don't care. First off, he's the president. He's subjected to that. He's opened himself up for that because of his position. Secondly, it's the Constitution. You can say that, man, he's under attack right now. Just people are out to get him. Maybe. That may be. And he's brought a lot of it on himself because he's a fucking disgraceful, pitiful liar. But you cannot, regardless of how you feel, you cannot go against the Constitution. It's all we have as a carrier. It's the only checks and balances we have. You can't do it. Absent were Region 7 Patrick Johnson and Chris Jackson. He was out of the country. And Mudd lost his Zoom connection, so he couldn't vote. So anyway, there you have that. And then you have this one, the one who raised his hand immediately and said, let's dismiss the charges. He's up here in a rap session the other day talking about division, talking about we need to be together. We can't have this division. And you'll see more and more of that from these resident officers, these ass-kissing bootlickers. You'll see more and more of that. They'll be out in the field. We've got to come together. These people trying to divide us. You know, he was even saying that management's paying attention to all this, and that's the reason we couldn't get a good contract. God. Oh, shit. The shit that they will try to feed us, man. This motherfucker said that management was paying attention to our division, and that's the reason basically we couldn't get a good contract. Good God Almighty. They will fuck us over time and time again and then turn around and act like nothing happened. What are y'all talking about? You know who it reminds me of? This is a perfect example of these motherfuckers on the resident council. This is a perfect example. When I was young, I loved watching wrestling. I knew it was real. It was not fake. Wrestling. I watched it religious. Could not wait for Saturdays. Could not wait. My favorite wrestler of all time was Jerry the King Lawler out of Memphis. Jerry Lawler. If y'all watch wrestling now, I don't know if he still does announcing, but he was an announcer for a long time. He was my favorite. If y'all remember him, you know, he would be getting his ass beat, and then he'd pull that strap down off his shoulder. It was his left shoulder. He'd pull that strap down, and when he pulled that strap down, that was your ass. It was over. You know, if he didn't get the strap down and he would lose, I would be upset for a week. I would be upset for an entire week. But you could be whipping his ass and he'd stand up and pull that strap down off that shoulder and like, motherfucker, it's on. It's on. But there was a wrestler, if y'all can remember, Tojo Yamamoto. Do y'all remember him? Tojo Yamamoto? Little short, chubby, bald-headed guy. Tojo Yamamoto. And what he would do was, when the referee wasn't looking, he would hit somebody in the head with a clog, his shoe. He would take stuff out of his pants and throw powder in their face. And it would piss me off to no end. I'd be screaming at the referee to look. Man, look what he's doing. Pissed that the referee was just laying down, took forever to get up. And Tojo's back there giving somebody the business, just illegal as hell. And so I would be just screaming at the TV. My mom would be like, Corey, be quiet, I was going off. Look what he's doing. That's your executive council. That's your resident officers. They're Tojo Yamamotos. They will straight fuck us over when we're not looking and then come to us, what? Wait, hey, division. All this division. Holy smokes. Y'all, you got people out there on podcasts and social media just divisive as hell. We've got to come together. After y'all have fucked us over for so fucking long, now you want to come together and we got to be as one. What the fuck you talking about? Y'all have fucked us over time and time again. The carry has stood the fuck up and they can't take it. They don't know what to do about it. They have no idea what to do. Start getting boxes, bitch. That's what you need to do. And start getting your shit together to pack in them. Because y'all's days are numbered. We will not sit down. We have stood up. We have stood the fuck up. We will not sit down and, baby, let me tell you, we will not be quiet. We will not go quietly into the night, son. We will not. That is not the city letter carrier. Light blue has stood the fuck up, motherfuckers. And we will stay that way until this election. It's a movement unlike anything ever seen before in any union organization. They've never seen anything like it. So many people reaching out to me. Can you come talk to my people? Can you come talk to us about what the movement is about? What are y'all doing? Why is it? How did you get it going? I didn't get nothing going. This is a city letter carrier finally learning and educating themselves on things other than the contract on your union is a fucking failure because you got a leader, a dictator, a tyrant, a bully, a liar, a womanizer, running around like he owns the motherfucker. And an executive council bending over, kissing the ring, and then kissing his ass, telling us to be quiet. Fuck you. Telling us to sit down. Come sit me down, bitch. Those days are gone. Those days are over. I'm telling you, that TA, nothing. Was nothing compared to what's coming. Shit. Y'all have mistaken us for somebody else. Y'all have mistaken us for some lowly little bitches. That is not us, baby. We're out there every day getting it the fuck on. And you come at us? No, sir. No, sir. That's not light blue, son. That's not light blue. You won't come at us? Fuck. Come and get you some. That's what you do. Anybody sit down and be quiet. Motherfucker, I wish I would. You got the wrong motherfucker here, son. The wrong motherfucking one. Y'all make sure to listen on Wednesday because that's a cuss-free episode. Those are rated G for everybody, right? That's strictly education. But as a city letter carrier, I'm sick and tired of the shit that these motherfuckers want to feed me and tell me I need to take it and be quiet. Shit. That's not who I am. That's not how I was raised. That's not how I was raised. To sit down and be quiet. When I see something wrong, when I see my people being hurt, my mom would kick my ass if she came outside and my brother's in a fight and I wasn't in it. She would kick my ass. To this day, my mom would kick my ass. She's 87. She would still to this day kick my ass if somebody was getting beaten. I was sitting there watching it. She'd kick me in my ass. What are you doing? Well, I don't know them people. Get in there and help. I can hear her. That's how I was raised. Not to be a cowardly little bitch like a lot of these executive council and resident officers are. She would be disgraced. So ashamed of me if she knew, if I participated in anything like that. You got the city letter carrier. We're on a full-on attack. Management is a full-on attack on us right now, on all these things that they're doing. Everything. Because they know that we have no leadership. We have no leadership right now. And you look at everything that's going on. These 16-7's a perfect example. They're putting people off the clock for shit that happened 2 weeks ago. Crazy shit. And we're to blame for a lot of it. Nationally. Because you look at, I mentioned the arbitration decision out of Region 2. We finally get a foothold on management on non-compliance. One of the best decisions you'll get when he talks about the management's going to pay full freight. Y'all remember me talking about that episode. Y'all going to pay full freight because the union shouldn't have to keep filing these grievances. So if they keep coming to arbitration and y'all keep doing the same shit, y'all are going to pay for it. What a beautiful decision. And had decisions to back that up, to support that. He referenced those in his decision. And then you have Barner going and amending that, saying you can't do that. So you have us hurting us as far as non-compliance. One of the biggest things we have to deal with, and we will deal with, that will be one of my babies when I get in there. We will attack that shit. Management will never, ever come to me and say, we need you to amend a decision based off of non-compliance. I will say, try to take that to court and vacate it. I will not make a phone call. It's not contractual. It was to the arbitrator. It was to the arbitrator. So y'all go vacate it if you want to attempt to vacate it. I will not be making a phone call to amend a fucking decision. And I don't know how Valfiatis didn't raise his, just tear the roof off the building when that motherfucker called. If I was Valfiatis, I said, if you amend that decision, the next time I see you, I'm going to whip your ass. The next time I see you, I will whip your ass if you do that to my people. That's what I would have done if I was Valfiatis. You're not going to call anybody trying to amend a decision that we have gotten to help us with non-compliance. If you call anybody, I will fly to Washington myself just to clean my shoe in your ass. Because we don't have that. He probably thinks it's a good idea. Because he was the one that's sitting there telling that, Renfro, I just don't think he's dishonest. I don't see that. I don't see that he's being, holy fuck balls. Then you have Memphis. Then you got the Memphis decision. Talked about this before, but the arbitrator removes 3 managers and a district manager. We've never had that happen before. So you finally have gotten district managers on the hook. We can get them. We can get them. What does management do? Labor, they call Barner. Don't like it. So we will amend the decision. They amended that decision as well. We'll amend the decision and we want to call the arbitrator and you kick him off the panel. You do it. So he's doing labor's dirty work. He's doing it. What a little bitch. We're our own worst enemy right now. I'll tell you this, if they called me about that, I'd tell them they would know anyway. Then don't call Corey. Don't call, he's not going to do that. Well, just call him. I'm not calling him and getting cussed out. He's not calling an arbitrator to kick him off the panel. Just ain't happening. The problem is they're too comfortable with these motherfuckers we got. You got Tolino way too comfortable with Renfro. You saw what that motherfucker did. Both of these motherfuckers going to sign an MOU violating our Constitution. Way too comfortable there. Barner, way too comfortable with this motherfucker. Call and get this amended. I'll call him. Y'all want to be on the phone call with me? Or Yeah, we'll be on. Okay. I'm going to call and remove this arbitrator. Y'all want to be on the phone call with me? Or want me to just do it for y'all? Well, we'll be on there with you. Okay, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. God. It's a union. This is a union. Holy fuck. But you got the 16-7s going wild right now. You got them, and this is the honest to God's truth. You got management putting carriers, putting shop stewards off the clock on 16-7 for filling out a safety form, for turning in information requests, for filing grievances. That's how they have weaponized that. They're putting shop stewards off the clock for filling out a safety form. Swear to God. Turning in information requests. Filing grievances. We still have them out there taking pictures of us. Pictures of our mail. Stop right there. Open up the vehicle. Let me take pictures of. Now get over there in front of that mail. Let me take a picture of you. They're still doing that shit. There is a full-on assault. Now you got this shit here, this auto pivot stuff, which is a complete violation of just about everything. They're doing that. You had the 16-7s, like I said, you had headquarters coming out with that plan. You got this plan. They're just planning shit to fuck us over. And what are we doing? We're hand in hand with these motherfuckers. We need savages back over this fucking union. I'm talking about fucking savages back over this union. Well, they wouldn't even attempt to make a phone call across the fucking street and say, hey, we need y'all's help. Fuck you. I'm here for one reason and one reason only, to help the city letter carrier. I'm not concerned about you or your finances or whatever. Matter of fact, get your fucking helmet on. Because we got teams going into y'all's offices, remove y'all's funky asses because y'all won't take care of yourselves. Get your fucking helmets on, bitch. It's a new fucking day. The CLC can't get in this motherfucker fast enough. When I'm talking about savages in this motherfucker, just wait. Wait till you hear the director of city delivery. This motherfucker. God. I was praying at night that James would pick this cat. I was praying. There's two names. And I'm thinking, let it be this one. Savage, let it be this one. James has gone outside the executive council, outside the resident officers. I'm bringing in new blood to fight. We've gotten kind of fat and lazy in this motherfucker. I'm bringing in new blood to fight. We want motherfuckers coming in out of the trenches and fighting. Wait until you hear. Savages, son. I'm so fucking tired of this bullshit. I'm so tired of this shit, man. Bending over to management. Watching my union bend over to management. Watching the executive council and resident officers kiss this motherfucker's ring. Kissing his ass. This motherfucker's got the cleanest ass in America. The amount of kissing that motherfucker's gotten. He's got chapstick on his ass because that motherfucker's chapped all the fucking time. Because these resident officers and these business agents I named out keep kissing this motherfucker's ass. Cowards. All of them. Cowards. And here's the city letter carrier in the fucking muck and mud. Doing this shit every fucking day. No help. And y'all want me to be quiet? You want me to sit down? Kiss my ass. Unbelievable, man, where we're at right now with our union. Unfucking believable where we're at. And you know, you're thinking, well, eventually they'll have to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. No, fuck, every day it's the same shit. But they will come out. They will come out about election time when he announces a ticket, and they'll run out, look at all the things we've done for you. Look at everything we're doing. Y'all need help, we're coming. We'll make sure to come in your office. It's too late, motherfuckers. It's too late. We know who you are. You're like that wolf walking around with a sheep's skin on. Hey, I'm here to help. This is me, your business agent. I know y'all hadn't seen me for 3.5 years, but I'm here to help. Wolf walk around in a sheep's outfit. I'm here for you. No, bitch, too late. Where were you 3 years ago? Your president's going to get out there and start talking all his shit. Where were you, motherfucker, 3 years ago? All right. Auto pivot training. Auto pivot training. This is the new thing that management's come out with, okay? This is the new thing that management's come out with. And what they're doing is they're basing every day, they're going to determine your undertime off of DOAS. That's all it is. I don't know if they're using any kind of fixed office time, if they're using a 33 or 20. Not supposed to be using the 20. That's supposed to be for joint route evaluation processes. But I don't think it says. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's long. I'm going to read the whole thing. I don't know if I've been cussing for an hour. So I may not do that. I may not read the minutes. They're funny. I may read those next week. Y'all mind if I just hold off 1 week and read these minutes? Because they are funny. Like I said, you can tell people in there like, this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well when I put this out on the floor. Some of these stewards are going to eat my ass alive. And you can tell by these questions because they're like, are you sure? I'm not going to say it because I'm going to read it to you. But and they're talking about the 3996. I'm going to read the 3996 for you, okay? And just remember this. Remember this. The carry auxiliary control form. Okay, so it's under reporting requirements. If I'm under the impression that I'm not going to be able to make it back in 8 hours and deliver all the mail that I've gotten for the day, I'm to request, that's my job. I request it. They don't bring it to me. I request it. I request it. And so I'm going to request under reporting requirements, and we're going to talk about those in a second. Under reporting requirements, I'm going to request the 3996. Now, what does management fill out? They fill out two portions. L. They fill out L. Management action. This section is completed by the manager reviewing the form. The manager reviews the request and makes a determination as to the appropriate actions. The manager shall check the appropriate actions and initial each section. Now that's L, management action. K is what we do. We do all of it, but K is specifically, the carrier must enter the estimated hours and minutes of the amount of assistance being requested. That's K. Remember that because under the auto pivot training, they hand it to us with K already filled out. And then at the bottom, the delivery manager will complete the following item. When you look at assistance under P, they're to fill out office time used, travel to time, delivery time, travel from time, total street time, and total auxiliary time used. That's in P at the bottom, the very bottom. You know what I'm talking about. So they fill out L, management action. It even says it on there. Check and initial all appropriate actions. They're going to either approve it or disapprove it and give auxiliary assistance, whatever, okay? So K, we fill out K. And if K, that's estimated hours, right? Estimated work. So remember that. We fill out K, they fill out L. So here's the auto pivot training. And Josh Brought, somebody emailed this to me, but I saw Josh Brought talk about it on Facebook, and a very good response to it. And Josh, if y'all know him, he's spot on a lot of shit. He said, a settling management is not asking for your leave time and return time, but rather telling you what piece you have in undertime, maybe even threatening an investigative interview and discipline if you don't make that time. It's all because of a new program they have called Auto Pivot. This program tells them how much undertime you have and what piece you'll be taking. It's a grievance. It's a violation of the M41, Section 131, and I'll get into all these after I read this, okay? So just make sure you have a pen and paper because when we talk about a grievance, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of templates because, like I said, the person who sent this to me, people were talking on this email string, and it talked about they're going to be coming out with something. So as soon as it comes out, I'll put it out here for you. It's a violation of the M41, Section 131, the M39, Section 122, reporting requirements, M39 115.4, mutual respect. That's very good if they're threatening discipline or not investigative interview, or however they come out to you with it. M1664, the DOAS memo. We talked about that the last, I think 2 weeks ago on the 6-day count thing, and plenty of other things. Your responsibility to give your professional estimate has not changed. File the damn grievance. And that's right. It's up to us to request a 3996. You did not give me one. to request a $39.96 and to fill out that $39.96. That's my work. I already read it to you under K, right? That's our work. So here's the auto pivot training. And when Mallory feels a little bit better, I'm going to send this to her and she can put that up for you so that you can pull it off and read it. It's very lengthy. I'm going to skip several pages because they're introductory pages. And so I'm not going to read the introductory pages. It's a facilitator team. It's headquarter, city, DS&P. It's Ron Cherry and David Tusink, headquarters. So headquarters has come out with this thing that completely violates our contract, but they don't care. Just like this 16-7 escapade they went on. Completely violated the national agreement, but they don't care. National release date 3/31. District manager socialization 4/1. Learn and grow dates Wednesday and Thursday 4/2, 4/3, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern. Daily bridge calls for assistance begins 4/3, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Background. Auto pivots. What is it? Auto pivots. Geo delivery enhancement. Designed to assist in capturing carrier undertime. Helps in reduction of street inactivity time. And they're still beating the shit out of us. So street inactivity time, stationary events, stationary time, all that the Trojan horse, those memos, 1983, gave them full reign on that. Plus your dumbass president saying that's an inconvenience. Ensures required pecking orders followed. How can it help? Program gives real-time snapshot of carrier's workload. Suggests routes to pivot based off carrier schedules and leave entries. Identifies carriers with undertime. Simplifies selecting territory to assign. Provides nearby carrier recommendations. Assists in keeping OTDL equitable. Management has limited time to make informed decisions. Auto-populates PS Form 3999s for printing. Auto-pivot screen, overview and features. Auto-pivots suggest routes for pivoting based off carrier schedules and tax and leave entries. ERMS request must be approved and flow into tax before a route will show up in the suggested list. Identifies total street time to be pivoted. Now that's one of the killers to them when they talk about street time to be pivoted, when they say that, and then I'll talk about it more later because it goes more in depth about it, but they're going to say that this street time, they're going to probably base that off of $39.99. This street time for Corey's route is 6 hours and 13 minutes. We're going to divide that street time with 4 carriers. What they don't take into account is travel to and from. And I'm not the regular carrier on the route. I don't know the route. But they're going to hold me to that carrier's time. And you're going to see that because they're going to print out the $39.96 to give to you. So they're going to hold me to that carrier's time. It's not my time because I don't deliver that route. I'm not accustomed to it or used to it. It's not just putting mail in boxes like everybody thinks. Travel to and travel from time. And that's on the $39.96. Travel to and travel from. So remember that. Assignment identification. Auto pivots. Identifies each route's current workload. And it's based off of DOAS. And it says it right here. Select carriers for assignment. DOAS. DOAS. Identifies assignment pecking order, undertime, overtime desired list ranked by OT admin and nearby carrier. So identifies each route's current workload. That's based off of DOAS. That's a violation of the DOAS memo because you are determining my leave time based off of DOAS. That's exactly what that is if you're saying that I've got undertime. You're determining my leave time based off of DOAS. If you say I got an hour and a half undertime, you're determining my leave time. Why? Because I just came in. And you're going to determine my leave time based off of the data you already have. That's DOAS. That's a violation of the DOAS memo. We'll get into that in just a second. Assignment identification. Auto pivots. Streamlines sector segment assignments. Enables logical groupings based on duration. And simplifies territory assignments. And it's got all these pictures on here, and y'all see them. If you go on from arbitration.com, when Mallory feels better, I'm not going to have her do it now. She's out of it. But when she feels better, I'll have her put this up. So y'all pull it up and look at it yourself, okay? Look at it because it's got pictures on all this shit. Assignment identification. Auto pivots. Auto generates the PS Form 3996. Listen to me. It auto-generates the PS Form 3996. Now, why would you auto-generate a PS Form 3996 when it's my requirement to request one? Why would you be generating anything from me that it's my requirement to request? It says upon the carrier's request. I didn't request a 3996. And I don't request a 3996 for undertime. I put one in for overtime. But it's already filled out. It says saves time, increased PS Form 3996 accuracy. It increases its accuracy, which it does the exact opposite of that, because I don't know the route. It's not my route. It's not my times on the 3999. It's the regular carriers. So it can't increase the PS Form 3996 accuracy because you're basing it off of somebody else's work. Assignment saved to DOIS. And it's got a picture of the 3996. It's already printed out. And it's got N, starts delivery. Now, that's our part. N is our part. But it's filled in, N. K is filled in already, an hour and 23. The carrier does that. I just read that to you. It says K, the carrier must enter the estimated hours and minutes. It's already input. We're going to grieve that too under Article 1 because they're now doing our work. Okay, that's Article 1, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. McKay's already entered, an hour and 23. The name at the top, the carrier's name, that's my job. You're doing my work now. The date, that's my work. The relays under O, that's my work. And so it's saying auto-generates the PS Form 3996. As soon as they auto-generate that PS Form 3996 and hand it to me, that's a grievance. That's a grievance. Okay? Because they're doing my work. I didn't request it, first off. And you're filling in things that I'm required to fill out. We'll talk about that in a second. Access to auto pivots in Geo. Supervisor login. Supervisor logs into DOIS. Selects route to be pivoted. Select street. Click on pivot button. And it has all those things on pictures for you. Supervisor login. Supervisor logs into TRP Geo. TRP Geo. Legal agreement displays. Click I accept. Enter ACE ID. Enter ACE password. Link USPS. So it's all the shit that they do when they come in the morning. Select office. Office selection screen will open. Multiple ways to access office. Drill down. Select area. Select district. Select input. Select facility. Check add all zip codes. Search zip codes, enter zip code, hit go button, check add all zip codes. Select auto pivots. The Geo delivery screen will open. Select the auto pivots tab, and it has the entire zip code pulled up there. Auto pivot home screen. The auto pivot home screen will open, and then it has another zip code area. That's the city route. It'll have it outlined. This is city route 7. DOIS routes, suggested routes for pivoting. I guess these are carriers with days off. Assignment pivots. Auto pivot map. The left side of the page shows a map of the routes. Option to select individual zip codes. Search filter option to search all data. Employee name, route, zip code, etc. Link to return to Geo delivery. Office selection screen. Logout option. Auto pivot routes. The right side of the screen has the routes for pivoting. Suggested routes. These routes are based off carrier schedules and leave entered. DOIS routes. All the routes for the office. User can select from suggested routes or pick any DOIS route for pivoting. Remaining time identifies total street time to be pivoted, and that's based off of 3999. Usually they'll implement that into DOIS. The 3999 time reduces as pivots are assigned. Auto pivot routes. Before pivot assignments have been determined, ensure your AM volumes are entered into DOIS. Select the route you may need. Auto pivot shows undertime routes first. Current projected work hours are shown next to each route. Now, how are you going to project my work hours? That's DOIS. Okay? They can't do that. They can't do that. That's a grievance. We'll talk about that in a minute. Utilize this list for AM expectation conversations to capture as much undertime as possible. So they're supposed to come around, and that's one of the things that they keep talking about at these minutes. They keep saying, well, you still need to go over there and talk to them. You still need to go talk to them. Y'all know how that's going to go. Y'all got undertime because this is their baby now. This is their new thing, their new tool. You're going to capture all this undertime. So you know how those conversations are going to go in some of these small offices, even some of the big offices. You got an hour undertime. This is what you're going to get. Here's your $39.96. Damn. You know, do I have any responsibility whatsoever? But so it says utilize this list for AM expectation conversations to capture as much undertime as possible. Now we determine if we have undertime or not. Management does not determine that for us. We determine that. Okay? We look at that and determine if we have undertime. They don't do that. Select auto pivots. The user selected route 7 to pivot. Route 7 data shows logical groups 22. Based on pivot plan data, delivery time 6 hours and 32 minutes. Available carriers to assign time are below based on undertime, overtime desired list ranked by OT admin, nearby carriers. Map shows territory of route and nearby routes. Selection of pivots. Select pivot duration. Use the slide bar to create pivots based on time. Option to use arrows to adjust in 15-minute increments or click the time to manually enter. This route is being split up in pivots of an hour and 30 minutes. So how are you going to determine an hour and 30 minutes? That's based off a one-day ride of $39.99. And they're going to say, here's an hour and 30, and here's the $39.96 already printed. It's already filled out. And so you got an hour and 30 of undertime. Or overtime, it doesn't matter, or overtime, whatever, an hour and 30. That's based off of someone else's work. That's not based on my work, my travel time, to and from. But they'll try to hold us to that. They'll try to hold us to that. The auto pivot tool is split the route into 4 groups of territory for assignment. Assign the pivots by selecting carriers below. Circle with X by name removes just the selected assignment. Reset carrier assignments removes all assignments made. To save these assignments, select Save Pivot Assignments. Selection of pivots. Employee list is defaulted to just carriers assigned a route. Check supplemental to view CCAs, unassigned regulars, PTFs, and reserve carriers. Check Show Additional Employees to view all employees from the DOAS Maintain Carrier Route Assignment list. This would be to access borrowed carriers from other offices. Carrier must be added here before they show up in geo delivery. Saving pivot assignments. The pivots assignment will be displayed. Territory assignment and time will be populated. You may now print the PS Form 3996s for these assignments by selecting Print Forms. To continue creating assignments, click on Select a New Route. That is a grievance. We request the $39.96. They do not print out and hand me a $39.96. That is my job. That's a violation of Article 1. I request it and I fill it out. So when it says you may now print the PS Form 3999s for these assignments by selecting Print Forms, they can print them all they want to. As soon as they hand it to me, that's a grievance. That's a grievance. Printing pivot assignments. After print forms are selected, each carrier's PS Form 3996 will be available to print. On this screen, you must print each form individually by selecting the carrier. When the carrier is selected, a pop-up will display. Now, you can tell that people in headquarters have never worked in a contract environment, a union environment. They have no concept of the JCAM. None. And they've gotten their job. They probably worked at Burger King as a sales rep. And they came over here making 6 figures. Doing these things will ultimately be grieved and beaten in most places. Hopefully all the business agents are coming together with some kind of template. As soon as they can, they're going to get some cold water and pour it on these business agents so they can unlock their lips from this motherfucker's ass at the top and go do their fucking job. And protect the city letter carrier. You got new shit coming out. Y'all need to be in there doing that rather than shitting on our Constitution and kissing this motherfucker's ringing ass. Anyway, what does it say? When the carrier is selected, a pop-up will display. Click Open to generate the form. To continue creating assignments, click on Select a New Route. To print all assignments at once, select a new route. To pivot. Printing pivot assignments. From the route selection page, to print all PS Form 3996s for a given route, select printer icon. Pop-up will appear. Select open. Each route will generate its own PS Form 3996. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's a violation of our contract. And they're just openly, you got to get this and put it in your file. It's telling them each route will generate its own PS Form 3996. I don't need that. I request it for overtime. I don't request a 3996 for undertime. Printing pivot assignments. Pre-populated PS Form 3996 will display. Form is editable. Use radio buttons for keys, required car fare accountable. So they're filling all that in for us. Enter approved amount of time and toggle radio button to approve. So they're entering our approved time in K. Enter approved amount of time. So they're already approving us 1 hour and 33 minutes on this form. I don't know how much I'm going to need. I turn this in. We'll grieve that. Select print icon after approving. Any questions? Resources. And then it's got all this shit. Delivery Operations Information System, DOIS. And that's what all this is based off of, right? All this is based off of DOIS. And it's got on the last page, page 33, it's got Auto Pivots National Training, new. DOIS Route Adjustment Process. DOIS Core and AIMS Procedural Principles, Procedures and Job Aids, new DCD 46 Key Users Manual, all these things. I would request all of it in my grievance. I'm going to request all these things because they're getting this off of DOIS and PET, okay? They're getting that off of DOIS and PET. Now, I will send that to Mallory. When she feels better, she can put that up. But when you're going to grieve this stuff, first off is Article 1. Article 1, as soon as they come up to me and hand me a 3996, that's a grievance. You don't hand me one. I request one. And then you can hand me one. But when you hand me a 3996, that's my work. That's a grievance on Article 1. If it's pre-filled, that's a grievance. That's my work. I fill it out. I fill out that form. So we've already got an Article 1 violation. Then you got section 131.41 and 131.42 of Handbook M41. Reporting requirements. We're to orally inform manager when we believe we can't carry all the mail distributed to our route in 8 hours. That's our job. We request the PS Form 3996. Section 122.33 of Handbook M39 requires the manager to provide me with a PS Form 3996 when requested. When you request a 3996, no matter what your manager says to you, say, I'm requesting a 3996 and explain the reasons for your request. Now, I've done numerous episodes. JB has done numerous episodes on the 3996, okay? So that's section 122.33 of the Handbook M39. So I've got Management's Handbook to me, the M41, where they tell me that it's my responsibility. Then they've got Management's Handbook to themselves, M39, that says it's my responsibility. Nowhere in any handbook manual or any provision does it state that it's management's responsibility to fill out the 3996 and bring it to me. No, it's not found anywhere. That's a violation of Article 1. Violation of Article 19 via Section 131.41 and 131.42 of the M41 Handbook. Violation of Article 19 via Section 122.33 of Handbook M39. That's where we request it. Management will give it out to us. Also, you're going to put in there the DOIS memos. Okay, we've talked about those numerous times, the DOIS memos. M1664 and M1769. Remember that. M1664 and M1769, new shop stewards. We're going to incorporate those through Article 19. Okay? Article 19 will incorporate M1664 and M1769. That will be in your issue statement. Okay? So we got Article 1. Article 1, they're doing our work. You bring me a 3996, it's a grievance. You fill it out, that's a grievance. You got Section 131.41 and 131.42 of Handbook M41. Section 122.33 of Handbook M39, M1664, and M1769. That's just the beginner. We're doing that now until we can get us a good template. That's today. We go in there tomorrow, they hand us this, that's the grievance they're going to get. Then we're going to ask questions. What are you basing this off of? Pet, DOAS. Okay? That's where 1664 and 1769 comes in, okay? So, just a quick run through. Next week I'll go over those minutes because they're funny, okay? Wednesday, an hour of 6-day count, all right? Hey, city letter carrier, listen to me. I love you with all my heart. I love you with everything in me, and we're gonna get this thing turned around, okay? I promise you that. That's what Sunday's going to be. I'm going to do this every Sunday, kind of salted peanuts. I'll have some more stuff next Sunday. We're just going to keep doing it. Even when we win, every Sunday I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this every Sunday. I'm not going to change who I am because of what I'm doing. I'm just not. That's not who I am. That's not how I was raised. Every Tuesday, a Zoom call, you can ask me whatever questions you want to ask. I'll tell you exactly what I did the prior week. Every Tuesday. A national Zoom. Presidents, get on there and get my ass if I'm not doing something right. I don't care. Hold me accountable. You need to. Okay? But we should have that now. But our foot is coming, collectively, city letter carrier. Light blue, our foot is coming, and it's going to be put right in the ass of the resident officers and the executive council who continue to fuck us over. All right? I love y'all very much. Y'all have a fantastic week. I will talk to y'all Wednesday. Okay, and I'll tell you my new name for the episode. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Love you. Bye.